Whoopi Goldberg and the cackling hyenas of The View are back at it again, going down a consistent spiral of darkness and despair, earning a living hating on Donald Trump. All right. And this is where you see that Donald Trump is that awesome, where he even keeps his enemies paid. He even keeps his enemies' lights on, which is absolutely wild to me. OK, so shout out to Trump for even keeping Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, and Joy Behar, Cloudy Hostin, Joyless Behar, and Poopy Goldberg employed. All right, so there's that. Drop down below in the comments if you would sign a petition to cancel The View because, well, since they love canceling, how about they cancel themselves? So there's that. All right. Or should they be canceled? Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Shout out to the King Squad. Smash the like button. Hit subscribe. We're going to break this whole thing down, and let's go.
ABC News. Last night, ABC News senior national correspondent Terry Moran was at the White House for a wide-ranging interview with you-know-who that covered the biggest issues of his first 100 days in office, like tariffs, his administration picks, and the accidental deportation of Kilmar Abrego.
You gotta be kidding me.
Abrego.
You gotta be kidding
Garcia to El Salvador.
Wow.
El Salvador. My lips are failing me.
You gotta be kidding me. You know they're about to say a bunch of TDS and absolute BS, okay? So just buckle up. It gets bad.
Watch and see this clip.
He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the
do that.
letter MS13.
It says MS-13.
Yeah, that was Photoshop. So let me
That was Photoshop. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
Right, we'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture.
Then you think it was Photoshop?
Here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them.
To echo what Terry said, that image of a tattoo reading MS-13 was photoshopped.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They
Obviously photoshopped.
And it's done, it's quite
obvious.
obviously photoshopped. And so...
It's not even done well.
No.
Yeah. No.
But...
They're full of crap. All right, so shout out to accountability Trump out here just annihilating these Democrats. Okay, it's really crazy to see. Let's get back into it. It just gets worse.
You know, we don't want to cause any issues, but what was your takeaway from this?
He doesn't even recognize his own fake images at this point. But, you know, here's what I'd say. I watched the whole thing.
Did you?
And I'm really starting to feel sorry for him. He's over his head. The simplest questions he cannot answer. He knows that only immigration is maybe where he's been somewhat successful. It's like, and then he turns on Terry Moran when he asks, how dare you ask me a question I can't answer? I mean, the guy, the guy is over his head, and he knows it. I feel bad for him now. Or as he would say, I feel badly.
I didn't feel badly for him. I didn't.
But that's...
Here we have Cloudy Sunny Hostin, back at it again to sabotage, sink, and destroy. And Joyless Behar, with her usual shenanigans. All right, these cackling hyenas, these witches of the spew, share one brain cell, and they're about to just spill out a bunch of TDS. No facts.
I feel badly for us. I feel badly for us for our country because, as an attorney, I always believed in the rule of law, and we've always said that this is a constitutional democracy, and we are a country of laws, especially the Republican Party, and especially this president. And when you talk about Abrego Garcia, basically here legally being taken and deported to El Salvador, and then you have a
that's cap. That's super cap. He's literally an illegal immigrant. Okay, he's literally, if you're here illegally, that's illegal. Okay, that is a crime. Shout out to Tom Homan, a.k.a. Hulk Homan, annihilating these liberals with the facts.
Federal judge in Maryland that says, bring him back, facilitate his return. It goes to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court then says, facilitate his return.
Yeah.
Then you have President Trump during this interview saying,
the lawyers.
I'm not going to bring him back.
No.
I can, but I'm not going to. So when lawyers talk about a constitutional crisis, Ladies and gentlemen, we are here.
That's right.
We are in this constitutional crisis when you have the President of the United States on ABC News national interview saying, I am not going to do what the Supreme Court, another branch, a co-equal branch, told me to do.
Well,
She's full of crap, okay? And she knows it, all right? See, this is her full of crap face, all right? On ABC, America's bullcrap network. Just like CBS, we see the BS, okay? CNN, we see no end to the lies. And MSNBC, mainstream, nobody cares news. NBC, nobody cares. And yeah, I'm trying to think, are there any more? I'm sure there's more, but it didn't come to mind right now. Anyways, yeah, so, you know, it's crazy that they try to defend these illegals and stuff like that because, you know, what happens when it happens to you directly, when they start attacking your family, okay? We're trying to make, in the midst of making America great again, we also have to make America safe again. That's what Tom Homan is doing with these targeted ICE raids, and the Trump administration is trying to do, okay? Undo the damage of the abomination of the Biden-Harris administration, all right? It's not an easy task at all, and it will take time, and, you know, Trump's proactivity, especially at his age, is definitely very inspiring and amazing to see, quite frankly. And yeah, we had a vegetable for president that was Jurassic Joe, and he was out here just letting anything happen, letting the Democrats run rampant with their chaos and their own agenda, letting these illegals run around like the purge, slashing people in the neck, setting people on fire. These are all Googleable things, and yeah. So for them to sit here and ignore the facts and act like we care about the Constitution and we care about the economy, okay, it's a bunch of crap. All right, that's why they're on America's bullcrap network. I mean, ABC News. Let's get back into it. Let me know what you guys think about Cloudy Hostin and Joy Behar and Poopy Goldberg.
I am terrified.
The constitutional part is the due process, too.
There's no due process.
Right.
He was shipped. But there's also a judge's order that he's saying, my administration will not follow it. What do you do with that?
I thought that Terry Moran did a very good job.
Great.
And these are not easy interviews to do. And what stood out to me was two things. This MS-13 bit, because it seemed very clear to me, knowing Donald Trump, that he was not briefed that that is not a real image and that it was photoshopped. And that is a huge failure of his staff. If they are not before these interviews saying, sir, you should not reference that. This is not true. And it speaks to sort of a timidity of people not wanting to speak truth to him because they're fearful they may lose their jobs. But also, when it got into this issue of immigration, Donald Trump won on it in 2016 and in 2024. And for the first time, he's underwater. He's only got 45% on it. And it's because he's focusing on deporting people without due process under law. What makes America the greatest nation on earth is you get that due process. Donald Trump, of all people, should be glad that you're innocent until proven guilty.
They give it to him.
That system benefited us.
Yeah, that right there. What I will say about the MS-13 tattoo is I thought it was like a translation. I have not really seen the actual image myself. I will have to do my own research on that before I really, go deep into that topic. Yeah, what else? And on top of that, I really think Trump really held his own during that ABC interview. I think it was ABC or NBC, the interview he did with the liberal activist host and fake journalist. And yeah, so they're over here attacking Trump, deporting these illegals. But not too long ago, this is what the Obama administration was doing. This is what who else? It slipped my mind, but I know Obama was big on deporting people. He deported a bunch of immigrants and stuff like that. And yeah, and then they want due process and stuff. These immigrants, a lot of these illegals are getting that due process and everything. But how do you give due process to all these like millions of illegals that Biden let through? So that question's in the air as well. Granted, on top of that, they're also we're not going to ignore the fact that on The View, they're also trying to instill this fear that if you look of a certain descent, you can just get deported. That's not how this thing works at all. That is not how this thing works at all. And, they're trying to say if you're a certain shade, you'll be deported. If you have certain tattoos, you'll be deported. That's not the case at all. Tom Homan has already annihilated that, shut down, and humiliated many activists, fake journalists over that right there, because the fact of the matter is it's targeted. Okay, these people literally have been studied and it's all broken down, and it's just, it's targeted raids. They're doing targeted ICE raids. So you have that whole thing right there. It's pretty crazy. But what we're not going to do is let these witches on The View Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and Sonny Hostin, and the rest of these cackling hyenas sit here and spew out these lies. Okay, that's what we're not going to do, because what they'll have you thinking is out here that, oh my goodness gracious, you're going to be deported because you look Latino. That is just not the case at all. And I think that is emotional terrorism and instilling fear. And this is the very things that they do, which incites violence and has people walking around on edge, freaked out and bent out of shape. So, yeah. Let me know how you guys feel about this whole thing. What are your thoughts down below in the comments? Let's go. It gets worse. Okay, it just consistently gets worse. Let's go.
He did, except that he was found guilty.
But he got the process. Yeah. But he got the process. But finally, he said one thing that is a glowing success for him, yet it's not what the White House is talking about. He's effectively ended the border crisis in 100 days in office, but he's not talking about that. Instead, they're making these frankly, really horrible videos of people locked up and in chains being dragged and deported without due process.
And that little kid I mentioned yesterday, that 4-year-old boy who had stage 4 cancer, and they sent him back with his mother to Honduras without his medication. That's just cruel.
And also,
oh my gosh, she is so fake. Okay, drop down below in the comments if you think Joy Behar is fake, or do you think she's an authentic person? You think she's genuine and authentic and she just tells it like it is and she tells the truth? I certainly do not. Okay, I think she's full of crap, quite frankly. Okay, they're trying to do this tug on the heart kind of nonsense, but no, that's just not the case. Okay, a lot of these kids are getting literally taken with their parents. Okay, on top of that, let's not ignore the fact that they tried attacking the Trump administration, saying that Trump is deporting families and separating families and taking away grandchildren from grandparents and taking away kids from their parents. And oh my gosh, lions, tigers, and bears and all types of nonsense. Not the case at all. Okay, these kids, literally their parents are writing off stuff to like take their kids with them. So what are you talking about, Joy Behar? All right. It's very annoying that they consistently keep trying to hit Trump with this, this fake news.
One of the things that I'm sorry,
And then on top of that, too, even with Whoopi Goldberg, it's just funny to me how all of a sudden the Democrats are acting like they care about families when they ran an entire election on literally if your husband voted for Trump, divorce him. It's crazy. Absolutely wild. On top of that, it's a whole campaign of, oh, yeah, you can delete your kids. Trump is trying to take away your rights and fight to delete babies, and all types of nonsense like that. I thought that was just crazy. And all of a sudden now they care about keeping families together. You got to be kidding me. I mean, the hypocrites. This is just super hypocritical. Okay. And you see their desperation, which they reek of, by the way. They reek of desperation. Okay. With how far they'll go. They'll destroy Tesla cyber trucks, Tesla chargers. They'll vandalize buildings. They will smash windows and steal things. And they will literally try to get their political opponents deleted and assassinated and all types of craziness when those people don't line up with their agenda. And then that really, it starts to make a lot more sense when you see how Biden moved. He was like, okay, well, I forgot I'm the president. You guys can just, to hell with it. Just do what you want with the country. And then he just goes to the beach and eats some chocolate ice cream. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. What do you guys think? Let me know down below.
You go ahead.
No. It's actually kind of similar to what Alyssa was saying. I came at this interview through a different lens. I know what I think and why I didn't vote for him, but I was curious why, although his numbers are slipping, there are some people, and I'm sure
because you're a misandrist, you can tell us.
We all know some of them or work with them or, are neighbors with some who really believe he's doing a good job. And it really did come down to immigration, but at the border, it wasn't the deportations. And I think the problem is if he'd get out of his own way and leave the cruelty and the inhumanity of what he's doing with these deportations and focusing on the numbers are 93% down. It's the lowest in history. If he just focused on that and fixed his process, I actually think he'd garner more support on that one issue.
Yeah, but he does so many other things wrong.
Well, I know.
She is so full of crap. I think that he would garner more attention on this issue if he would just stop being a dictator and being horrid. That is not the case at all. See, they keep trying to push this narrative of Trump thinks he's the king and he's the dictator and he can just do whatever he wants without following the law. That is not the case at all. And if anybody did whatever they wanted, it's the Biden-Harris administration, okay, which we lived through, which was like living through the plague, okay? It was just crazy, all right? The whole thing was just nuts. I digress. It's just bad all around with this whole, the Democrats, the Demonocrats. Let's go.
No, but the fact that it's right there.
Dismantling the Department of Education.
Well,
That's the one thing they still support.
you know, all of the mistakes that they've been making, going into people's houses, going into the wrong house,
Churches,
deporting children
communities.
without their parents.
Or medicine.
There's a little baby she's 2, and she's now in foster care because they took her mom and dad. I mean,
evil.
it just, listen, everybody wants a fair shot to come to this country, or used to.
They're full of crap, all right? They're over here attacking Trump, saying, oh, yeah, you're separating families from each other. Then when they allow the parents to be able to take their children, instead of leaving them, they say, oh, man, you kicked out a family and a mother with her children and stuff like that. How could you? And roar and rage. And it's like, okay, are you done? Can you stop? Please. I mean, seriously. Can you please be an adult? Can you stop acting like children? Whoopi Goldberg. I don't think she can.
She used to be the really, we knew we had problems, but we were doing better than anybody else.
It's true.
The embarrassment of America right now is that we are no longer
embarrassment of
the country
America.
of due process. We are.
What? This is why I said, if you get your facts from The View, I'm sorry. Okay, well, granted, I didn't do anything to you. You just like being lied to. But do not get your facts from The View. At least I don't recommend that, okay? Do you think that, drop down below in the comments to King Squad, do you guys think The View is a great source of information on what's going on in the world? I certainly don't, but let me know what you guys think. I could be wrong. I certainly don't think I'm wrong, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, okay? They're going to say everything bad about Trump. If he cures cancer, they'll say he didn't cure sickle cell. Shout out to the King Squad member who said that. And they're going to say, oh, man, if he lowers inflation and all that type of stuff, oh, man, he didn't reduce the price of eggs, and all types of craziness. They're just going to blame everything on Trump and still protect Biden, which is what we saw them do during the Biden-Harris administration. While Biden was literally, recreating the Titanic with the country and featuring America, they protected Biden. And then they would attack Trump and then just say Trump is ruining everything, but Biden was the president. But we don't even really know who was running the country, but Biden was the sitting president at the time. It was just a mess.
We're no longer the
great
country.
constitutional democracy.
No, we're just not. We're in some kind of Twilight Zone thing. And, again, it's going to be up to us. It's really, there's politicians and then there's us. And you have every right to vote the people who are not taking care of our democracy out of office.
Yikes. Whoopi Goldberg.
Lawyers talk
Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, the cackling hyenas of The View, everyone. Okay, this is why I say that it's just a bunch of, they keep going down a spiral of darkness and despair. Okay, these narcissists will never figure it out. They'll never, have an awakening moment, be like, you know what, maybe Trump isn't so bad after all. No, they double down in the delusion. That's what we see consistently. I mean, do you guys agree? Let me know how you feel about it. Do you think that they display, a very strong delusion? I certainly do. I don't think they want the truth. I think that, whenever the Trump administration is holding the Biden administration accountable, that's how I see it. And they refuse to take that accountability because that accountability is their kryptonite. So what they're doing is deflecting, and they're like, okay, well, no, we're going to just blame all our mistakes on the Trump. We're going to just blame everything on Trump. And it's just a bunch of hogwash and hate and hatred and sabotage and just, this whole blame game. It's just a mess. And they're like, well, if we can't get people with this racial divide stuff that they push out, well, then we're going to sit here and attack Trump through illegals. We'll attack Trump through illegals. We'll say that he's the cause of inflation. We'll say he's messing the economy up. Okay, they'll strike fear into people and nitpick the process of the tariffs. Okay, that whole situation. And the Democrats, they just consistently double down in that delusion. They refuse to see the facts. They consistently go off how they feel, and how you feel is not the facts. Okay, cars don't run off feelings, and that's just the truth. All right. And when I say that, what I'm saying is there is a system, order, and structure to everything. In order to make something work, it needs to have a system, order, and structure. And Trump is bringing that system, order, and structure to the country. Let me know what you guys think. I don't think The View will ever get it. And yeah, that's that. Shout out to the King Squad. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.